Grew up in San Jose.
Grew up in Palo Alto, California, right over in the San Francisco Bay Area. And, just grew up a normal little life. It was my brother and my parents hanging out over in west side Palo Alto, in the mean streets of Palo Alto. And, after a great childhood, I was able to earn a football scholarship. So that's what actually drove me to the University of Idaho over in Moscow, Idaho. And spent the next 8 years over there.
The Vandals. Such a cool name.
Actually, they got that name back in the 70s. So they used to have a really good basketball team, and they got a nickname called the Vandalizers. So then the university just took that name and ran with it. But the Vandals, when I was recruited up there, Joel Thomas, one of the very famous running backs over there and one of the coaches who actually recruited me to come up, he had a different story about the Vandals. So what the Vandals were is they're the only group that was able to defeat and sack Constantinople. So they're this nomadic group where everyone was a little bit misfits.
Is it like the Visigoths? They were from like Scandinavia that they sacked Rome. So these are the Vandals that sacked Constantinople?
Yes. So it's the little misfits. It's the people who didn't quite fit in all of their separate tribes.
Is it Istanbul or Constantinople?
Constantinople.
It's the same.
Is it?
Yeah. Isn't there, that song? Istanbul and Constantinople. Come on. I think it's the same place. Yeah.
I need to check out the lyrics on that song.
Yeah, I'm not good at lyrics, by the way.
This tribe just kept on going around from region to region, picking up all of the misfits. Whether there was something wrong with them, they had a missing limb, they had a missing leg, they maybe ran their 40 time 1/10 of a second too slow, they may have been 1 inch too short to really go for one of the bigger groups, the bigger tribes or the bigger D1 teams. And when they got together though, when they put all of their strengths together, that's when they were able to really focus on those strengths and just wreak havoc everywhere they went.
Wow. The Vandals. Well, that was your college days, But I mean, so tell people your journey, because I find some of the best trial lawyers played Division I team sports or Division III, some type of team sport, because I think this is a team profession. How do you feel about that?
100%. One of the things I do is, especially like this year, I had a couple trials and I was able to bring in outsourced help, which are a couple of buddies I had from the Santa Clara County Bar Association. And one of the things when you want to develop a team, aside from bringing in people who are better than you, smarter than you, and also have the same type of work ethic, is you want to be able to manage. And that's really the hard part, especially in a legal world where everyone is so used to completing everything on their own. Everyone is so used to being the prime all-star in their life, wherever they came from. It really takes a lot to control a locker room and make sure you have a really healthy relationship with all the players in the locker room. Because regardless of what happens, in the house, in the home, you still have to walk out those front doors, and it's you versus everyone else that's out there in the battle that you're in. Wow. So you're able to really, utilize people and share. I think playing offensive line was also a really big help for me. A really big help.
Were you left tackle?
In high school I was. Oh. In college, because I was 1 inch too short and I had my 40th time 1/10 of a second too slow.
That's why they got you the Vandals, right?
Exactly. Yeah. I ended up playing right guard for the Vandals.
Oh wow.
So, but when you're playing football, it's especially on the offensive line, you have to get used to working. You have to get used to working hard. Being able to progress the team without your name being called by the announcers or having your name even listed on the TV. And that's one of the things I was really able to establish playing football in Idaho is, the first 4 years, I played 5 years up there, so I got my bachelor's in 4, ended up getting my master's in accountancy in my 5th one.
In accounting, you say?
In accounting, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that was my background.
Why accounting?
My mom was an accountant, so I think I just loved numbers growing up. Wow. And I was the kid who was hustling Pokemon cards back in 6th grade and going to all of his neighbors' houses trying to mow their lawns.
I did the same thing, man. My brother and I had a skincare business, lawn care business, and we used to. We had my little brother go pass out flyers when we were supposed to be going to church to get business, and we would go cut people's grass. Nice. But we had winter, so we had to go shovel snow.
So you had a seasonal
operation, yeah. Breaking leaves. Oh my God, that was the worst. Leaves are the worst.
Leaves?
Oh yeah.
Oh man,
it's terrible.
I kind of forgot what I was talking about. What was that? What was the last thing?
The booze is already hitting you, I think.
It's the Garrison Brothers, I'm glad you brought out the Garrison Brothers one, because this was actually one of the bottles I purchased during COVID, during lockdown, because the liquor stores that were around me, they were dry out of any types of bourbons and whiskeys. But I remember one of the owners asked me to try one of these. He's like, "You're gonna love it. You're gonna really enjoy it." So my brother and I actually came in that day, and it's like my brother's here, so I got to get the Garrison Brothers one. So
yeah, and they're a Texas brand, but it's with whiskey and bourbon, you have to be somewhere where there's a lot of heat or temperature that is alternating a lot, because that's how you flavor. So that's why Louisville's big. That's why you do a lot in Indiana across the river. It's why you do a lot in Texas and Nashville and around Tennessee as well. That's why you can't, like, I've had Pittsburgh whiskeys and they're terrible. I've tried it. People send me ones, they're not so good.